For 3 years, I've been secretly feeding a homeless Navy veteran who can barely afford his daily breakfast. But when a team of Navy SEALs suddenly storms into my diner looking for him, I discover Tommy isn't just any veteran. What classified secret has he been hiding that made the government believe he was dead? The alarm clock screams at 5:30 a.m., just like it has for the past 15 years. I roll out of bed and stumble to my little diner, keys jingling in the cool morning air. Most people think I'm crazy for opening this early, but they don't know about Tommy. I flip on the lights and fire up the grill. The smell of bacon and coffee fills the empty space. My diner isn't much to look at: cracked red vinyl seats, a counter that's seen better days, and windows that need a good cleaning. But it's mine, and it's home. At exactly 6:45 a.m., I start cracking eggs. 2 over easy, hash browns extra crispy, wheat toast lightly buttered. Tommy's order never changes. Neither does his timing. The front door bell chimes at 7 a.m. sharp. Tommy shuffles in wearing the same torn green jacket he's worn every single day for 3 years. His beard is gray and wild, his boots have holes, and his eyes hold secrets I've never asked about. "Morning, Tommy," I call out, already sliding his plate across the counter. He sits on the same stool, third from the left, and pulls out a small pile of crumpled bills and coins. His hands shake as he counts them. 43 cents. Yesterday, it was 57 cents. The day before, maybe $1.15. Never enough for a full meal. "That'll be on the house today," I say, pretending to be busy wiping down the already clean counter. Tommy's eyes get watery, like they do every morning. "I can't keep taking your food for free." "You're not taking anything. I'm giving it." I pour him coffee in a chipped blue mug. "Besides, you keep me company. That's worth something." He nods and takes a bite. I watch him eat slowly, like he's trying to make it last forever. Maybe he is. I don't know when his next meal will be. Other customers start trickling in around 7:30. The usual crowd: construction workers grabbing coffee, office people wanting breakfast sandwiches, old-timers reading newspapers. They all know Tommy by now. Some nod hello, others pretend not to see him. I make sure everyone treats him with respect in my place. Mrs. Henderson, who runs the flower shop next door, waves at Tommy through the window. She's been leaving day-old flowers on the counter for him to take. Small kindnesses that make a big difference. Tommy finishes his eggs and takes a long sip of coffee. "You ever wonder why some people end up where they do?" he asks me. It's the most personal thing he's ever said. Usually we talk about the weather or the baseball scores or which celebrity got in trouble this week. Safe topics that don't dig too deep. "I think everyone's got their story," I tell him. Good and bad mixed together. He stares into his coffee cup like he's reading tea leaves. Some stories are harder to tell than others. I want to ask what he means, but something in his voice warns me off. Tommy has walls built high for good reasons. I'm not going to be the one to tear them down. Around 8:15, the morning rush dies down. Tommy usually leaves by now, but today he sits perfectly still, staring out the front window. His whole body is tense, like a cat ready to run. "Everything okay?" I ask. He doesn't answer right away. His eyes are fixed on something across the street. I follow his gaze, but only see the usual morning traffic and people walking to work. "Tommy." Finally, he turns to look at me. For the first time in 3 years, I see real fear in his eyes. Not the everyday fear of being hungry or cold or alone. This is different. This is the kind of fear that comes from running from something that's finally caught up. "I need to tell you something," he says, his voice barely above a whisper, "about why I really ended up on the streets." My heart starts beating faster. After all this time, he's finally ready to open up. But something about the way he's looking around the diner, checking exits and windows, makes me nervous. "You can tell me anything, Tommy." He opens his mouth to speak, then freezes. His face goes completely white. I've never seen anyone look so scared. "They found me," he whispers. I spin around to see what Tommy's looking at. 3 men in dark clothes are walking straight toward my diner. They move like soldiers, back straight, eyes alert, taking in everything around them. Even from a distance, I can tell these aren't regular customers. "Tommy, who are they?" I ask, but he's already sliding off his stool. "I have to go," he says, backing toward the kitchen. "Right now?" The men are closer now. I can see military patches on their jackets, and something that looks like weapons strapped to their sides. My mouth goes dry. Tommy, wait. I grab his arm. You can't just run every time something scares you. You don't understand, he says, trying to pull away. I did something a long time ago. Something I can never take back. The bell above my door chimes. The three men walk in like they own the place. The other customers look up from their newspapers and breakfast plates. The whole diner goes quiet. These men are clearly military, but not regular army like Tommy's old jacket suggests. Their gear is different, fancier, more serious. One of them has Garcia written on his name patch. Good morning, Garcia says to me, but his eyes are scanning the room. We're looking for someone. I step between them and Tommy, even though my legs feel like jelly. This is a private business. If you want breakfast, you can sit anywhere you like. Garcia smiles, but it's not a mean smile. We're not here for breakfast, ma'am. We need to speak with Thomas Martinez. Tommy makes a choking sound behind me. I've never heard his last name before. Martinez. After 3 years of daily conversations, I'm just now learning his full name from strangers. There's no one here by that name. I lie. The second man steps forward. He's younger than Garcia, with kind eyes that remind me of my nephew. Ma'am, we know he's here. We've been tracking him for weeks. Tracking him? My mind races with terrible possibilities. What could Tommy have done that would make the military hunt him down? Did he steal something? Desert his unit? Hurt someone? Tommy, I whisper over my shoulder. These men say they're looking for you. I know, he says. His voice sounds defeated. I've been running from this day for 5 years. Garcia takes another step closer. Mr. Martinez, we're not here to arrest you. We need to talk. That's what they always say. Tommy replies, but he comes out from behind me. His hands are shaking so bad, he can barely stand straight. I look at this man I've been feeding every day for 3 years. This quiet, gentle person who always says please and thank you, who helps me clean up spilled coffee, who gives his leftover toast to the stray cat behind the diner. What could he possibly have done? Tommy, I say softly. What's going on? He looks at me with tears in his eyes. I never told you what I did in the army. What really happened over there? Garcia steps forward again. Thomas Martinez, you served with the Navy SEALs in Afghanistan from 2018 to 2019. You were part of Operation Desert Storm. Wait, Navy SEALs? Tommy told me he was just regular Army. He said he fixed trucks and delivered supplies. Nothing dangerous. Nothing important. Tommy, I stare at him. You were a Navy SEAL? He can't meet my eyes. It's complicated. The third man, who hasn't spoken yet, pulls out a folder. Mr. Martinez, what you did in Afghanistan saved hundreds of American lives. Maybe thousands. I feel like the floor is moving under my feet. The quiet homeless man I've been serving eggs to is some kind of war hero? It doesn't make sense. If he's a hero, I ask Garcia, why is he living on the streets? Garcia and his team exchange looks. Something passes between them that I don't understand. That's what we're here to explain, Garcia says. Mr. Martinez, the government has been looking for you for a very long time. Tommy finally looks up. I thought I was in trouble. I thought you were here to arrest me. Arrest you? The young SEAL laughs. Sir, we're here to thank you. My head is spinning. Thank him? For what? And why has Tommy been so scared if he's done nothing wrong? Garcia opens his folder and pulls out some official-looking papers. Mr. Martinez, what you did in Afghanistan was classified at the highest levels. Your mission was so secret that even your own family was told you were missing in action. Tommy's knees buckle. I catch his arm and help him sit back down on his stool. Missing in action? Tommy whispers. But I came home. I've been home for 5 years. Not officially, Garcia says gently. According to our records, you never returned from your final mission. I grab my spatula and wave it at the 3 Navy SEALs like it's some kind of weapon. Nobody talks to Tommy until he finishes his breakfast. Garcia actually smiles at this. A real smile, not the fake kind people give when they're trying to be polite. Ma'am, you're very loyal to your friend. He's not just my friend, I say, surprising myself with how fierce I sound. He's family. Tommy looks up at me with wide eyes. In 3 years, we've never used that word before. But it's true. This man who sits at my counter every morning, who worries about the stray cat, who always stacks his dishes neatly. He's more family to me than my own brother who never calls. The youngest SEAL takes off his helmet and runs his fingers through his hair. Ma'am, I think there's been a big misunderstanding. We're not here to hurt anyone. Then why do you look like you're going to war? I point at their gear and weapons. Garcia steps forward slowly, his hands up where I can see them. We dress like this because our job is dangerous. But Thomas Martinez is not our enemy. He's a hero. Tommy makes it sound like he's choking. I'm not a hero. Heroes don't run away and hide for 5 years. You didn't run away, the third SEAL says firmly. You were following orders. Following orders? I look back and forth between Tommy and these soldiers. Nothing makes sense anymore. Garcia pulls out a chair and sits down on one of my tables. The other two do the same. Suddenly, they don't look scary anymore. They look tired. Mr. Martinez, Garcia says gently, "Do you remember your last mission in Afghanistan?" Tommy's whole body starts shaking. He grips his coffee mug so tight, I'm afraid it might break. I remember everything. That's the problem. What do you remember? The young SEAL asks. Tommy stares at the counter for a long time. When he finally speaks, his voice is so quiet I have to lean in to hear him. There was a village. Small place, maybe 50 families. We got word that terrorists were planning to use it as a base to attack American soldiers. He pauses and takes a shaky breath. My job was to go in first, alone, and gather information. I sit down on the stool next to Tommy. This is the first time he's ever talked about the war. I lived with those families for 3 weeks, Tommy continues. Pretended to be a lost traveler. They fed me, gave me a place to sleep, treated me like their own son. Garcia nods. That was your cover story. You were very good at it. Too good, Tommy whispers. I got to know them. Little kids who played soccer with rocks because they didn't have a real ball. Old women who shared their bread, even though they barely had enough. Good people. The diner is completely quiet now. Even my other customers have stopped eating to listen. Then I found out the truth, Tommy says. The terrorists weren't just planning to use the village. They were planning to kill everyone who lived there. Men, women, children, everyone. My heart starts pounding. I can see where this story is going, and it's nowhere good. I had to make a choice, Tommy continues. Follow my orders and just gather information, or try to save those people. Garcia leans forward. You save them, Thomas. All of them. Tommy shakes his head. I broke every rule. I told the village leader about the danger. I helped them escape in the middle of the night. I led them to safety myself. And I ask, even though I'm scared to hear the answer. And I never reported back to my unit. I stayed with those families for 2 more weeks, making sure they were safe. By the time I tried to contact my team, they thought I was dead. The young SEAL speaks up. The mission was classified. When you didn't check in, the military had to assume you were captured or killed. They couldn't send a rescue team without risking the whole operation. Tommy looks up at Garcia. So, I was listed as missing in action? Worse than that, Garcia says quietly. You were listed as killed in action. Your family was told you died serving your country. The coffee mug slips from Tommy's hands and crashes to the floor. Hot coffee spreads everywhere, but nobody moves to clean it up. My family thinks I'm dead. Tommy whispers. Your sister Maria held a funeral for you. The third SEAL says gently. She still visits your grave every month. Tommy starts crying. Real tears, the kind that come from deep inside and hurt to watch. I put my arm around his shoulders. Why didn't you come home? I ask. Why didn't you tell them you were alive? Tommy wipes his eyes with his sleeve. Because I thought I was in trouble. I thought I had abandoned my mission and my team. I thought they would court-martial me for disobeying orders. Garcia stands up and walks over to us. Thomas, you didn't abandon anything. You saved 47 innocent people. The information you gathered about the terrorist cell led to the biggest intelligence breakthrough of the entire war. What do you mean? Tommy asks. The village leader you trusted? He had family members in other cities. When you saved his people, he gave us information about terrorist plans across the entire region. Because of what you did, we stopped 17 different attacks on American soldiers. I feel goosebumps on my arms. Tommy didn't just save those villagers. He saved American soldiers too. How many soldiers? Tommy asked quietly. We estimate between 4 and 600 American lives, Garcia says. Maybe more. Tommy stares at Garcia like he's speaking a foreign language. 600. You're not in trouble, Thomas. You never were. The government has been trying to find you so they can give you the medals you earned. Medals? I look at this gentleman who's been counting pennies for breakfast every morning. A war hero. Garcia reaches into his jacket and pulls out an envelope. This is from the President of the United States. Tommy's hands shake so bad he can't even hold the envelope. I take it from Garcia and set it on the counter between us. What's in there? Tommy asks, staring at it like it might explode. Open it and see, Garcia says with a smile. I look at Tommy. Do you want me to open it for you? He nods, unable to speak. I carefully tear open the official-looking envelope. Inside are several pieces of paper with fancy letterheads and gold seals. The first one makes me gasp out loud. Tommy, I whisper, it's a Presidential Medal of Honor. The words don't seem real coming out of my mouth. The Presidential Medal of Honor, the highest award a soldier can receive, and it has Tommy's name on it. That's impossible, Tommy says. I disobeyed orders. I broke the rules. Garcia sits down next to us again. Thomas, let me tell you what really happened after you disappeared. Tommy looks up, his eyes red from crying. When you didn't report back, your commanding officer was worried. He knew you weren't the type to abandon a mission. So he started digging deeper into the intelligence you had already sent. I sent intelligence. Tommy asks, confused. Every day for 3 weeks, you sent coded messages about what you observe in the village. Locations of weapons, names of terrorist contacts, plans for attacks. You did your job perfectly. The young SEAL pulls out a tablet and shows us a map. Look at this. Every red dot is a terrorist attack that was stopped because of information you provided. I count the dots. There are dozens of them, scattered across several countries. When your commanding officer realized how valuable your information was, he made a decision, Garcia continues. He reported you as killed in action to protect your identity. Protect my identity? Tommy repeats. The terrorists figured out there was a spy in that village. If they knew you were still alive, they would have hunted you down. Your commanding officer thought it was safer if the world believed you were dead. Tommy stares at the medal citation in my hands. So I wasn't in trouble. You were being protected, Garcia says. But something went wrong with the paperwork. Your commanding officer died in an attack 2 months after you disappeared. The only person who knew the truth was gone. I feel like I'm watching a movie instead of sitting in my own diner. This is all too crazy to be real. For 5 years, the military has been trying to piece together what happened, the third SEAL explains. They knew someone had provided incredible intelligence, but they didn't know who. How did you figure out it was Tommy? I ask. Garcia grins. Your friend here is too honest for his own good. He's been using his real name at every homeless shelter and soup kitchen in the city. It just took us a while to check all of them. Tommy looks embarrassed. I never thought to use a fake name. Good thing, the young SEAL says. Otherwise, we might never have found you. I look at the second piece of paper in the envelope. It's covered with numbers and official stamps. Tommy, what's this one? Garcia answers for him. That's 5 years of back pay, plus combat bonuses, plus interest. The number at the bottom makes me dizzy. It's more money than I've ever seen in my life. $847,000, I read out loud. Tommy slides off his stool and sits down hard on the floor. That can't be right. It's right, Garcia assures him. The government owes you a lot more than money, but it's a start. I help Tommy back up to his stool. He's staring at the papers like they're written in a language he doesn't understand. There's more, Garcia says gently. More? How could there possibly be more? Your sister Maria never believed you were really dead. She hired private investigators to look for you. She's been searching for 5 years. Tommy starts crying again. Maria, my little sister. She's not so little anymore, the young SEAL says with a smile. She's 32 now, married with 2 kids. But she never stopped looking for her big brother. She has kids. Tommy asks through his tears. A boy and a girl. She named the boy Thomas, after you. I have to sit down. This is too much emotion for one morning. Tommy has a nephew named after him, and he doesn't even know it. Where is she? Tommy asks. She's waiting at the naval base, Garcia says. She's been there since yesterday, hoping we would find you. Tommy looks at me with panic in his eyes. I can't see her like this. Look at me. I'm homeless. I smell. I haven't had a real haircut in years. Tommy, I say firmly, your sister has been looking for you for 5 years. You think she cares what you look like? Garcia stands up and checks his watch. We have a helicopter waiting to take you to the base. Your sister is very excited to see you. A helicopter? Tommy looks terrified again. It's okay, I tell him. I'll come with you. Garcia shakes his head. Ma'am, this is military business. Civilians aren't usually allowed. Then I guess Tommy isn't going anywhere, I say, crossing my arms. The 3 SEALs look at each other. Finally, Garcia smiles. Actually, there's something else in that envelope, he says to Tommy. The last page. I flip to the final document. It's a letter with the presidential seal at the top. Read it out loud, Garcia suggests. I clear my throat and begin. Thomas Martinez is hereby authorized to bring 1 civilian guest to his medal ceremony and family reunion in recognition of the kindness shown to him during his time of need. Tommy looks at me with hope in his eyes for the first time since the SEALs walked in. They want you there too, he says quietly. Will you come with me? I look at Tommy sitting there with tears streaming down his face, holding a check for almost $1 million. Of course I'll come with you, I say without thinking twice. But then reality hits me like a brick wall. I can't just leave my diner. I have customers who depend on me, bills to pay, a business to run. Mrs. Henderson next door waters my plants when I'm sick, but she can't run a restaurant. Wait, I say, panic creeping into my voice. I can't just close the diner. What about my customers? What about the morning regulars? Garcia looks around at the few people still sitting at tables, pretending not to listen to our conversation. How long would you need to arrange things? I don't know. A day? 2 days? Maybe a week? My mind is racing, trying to think of everything that needs to be done. Tommy's face falls. It's okay. You don't have to come. I understand you have responsibilities. No, don't me. I'm coming with you. I turn to face my customers. Excuse me, everyone. The construction workers, office people, and old-timers all look up from their breakfast. I need to close the diner for a few days to help my friend here. Anyone who wants their money back can get it from the register. Old Mr. Peterson, who's been coming here for 10 years, stands up slowly. You've been feeding that boy for free every morning, haven't you? I feel my cheeks get hot. That's between Tommy and me. No, it's not, says Jenny, the nurse who stops by before her shift. We've all seen it. We've all watched you take care of him. Some of us have been leaving extra tips, adds Carlos, the construction foreman. We figured it was going toward his meals. I stare at my customers in shock. They knew. All this time, they knew I was giving Tommy free food, and they were helping pay for it. Mrs. Peterson pulls out her wallet. How much money does the boy need for clothes and a haircut before he sees his sister? No, Tommy says quickly. I have money now. I can pay for my own things. Honey, Mrs. Peterson says gently, you've been taking care of all of us with your kindness for years. Let us take care of you for once. Garcia watches this whole scene with a strange expression on his face. Ma'am, if you don't mind me asking, is this normal for your customers? This is a neighborhood diner, I explain. These people aren't just customers. They're neighbors. The young SEAL pulls Garcia aside and whispers something in his ear. Garcia nods and comes back to us. Change of plans, Garcia announces. We're not taking the helicopter. Tommy looks confused. Why not? Because my commanding officer just radioed. He wants to meet you first before you see your sister. There are some things about your mission that even we don't know. My stomach drops. What kind of things? The kind that are classified above our level. The 3rd SEAL says seriously. Tommy grabs my arm. What if they change their minds? What if they decide I did something wrong after all? They won't, Garcia says firmly. But there are procedures we have to follow. Rules about classified information. I don't like the sound of this. How long will these procedures take? Could be a few hours. Could be a few days. Tommy's face goes white again. His sister has been waiting for 5 years. Now she has to wait even longer. Garcia pulls out his phone. Let me make a call. While Garcia talks quietly into his phone, I put my arm around Tommy's shoulders. It's going to be okay. What if it's not? Tommy whispers. What if there's something about that mission that I don't remember? What if I did something terrible? Tommy Martinez, I say firmly, I've watched you every morning for 3 years. You're the kindest, most gentle person I know. You give her leftover toast to a stray cat. You help me clean up messes that aren't yours. You say please and thank you for free food. Whatever you did in that war, it was the right thing. Garcia closes his phone and walks back to us. Good news and bad news. Bad news first, Tommy says. You can't see your sister today. My commanding officer insists on a full debriefing first. Tommy's shoulders slump. What's the good news? I ask. Garcia grins. Your sister is coming here. Here. Tommy jumps up so fast he knocks over his coffee cup. To the diner? She'll be here in 6 hours. Military transport. I look around my little diner with fresh eyes. Cracked vinyl seats, worn counter, windows that need cleaning. This is where Tommy will see his sister for the first time in 5 years. 6 hours, I repeat. That's enough time. Enough time for what? Garcia asks. I'm already moving toward the kitchen, my mind making lists. Enough time to make this place perfect. Tommy follows me. You don't have to do anything special. Yes, I do. I start pulling ingredients out of the refrigerator. Your sister's going to walk into this diner and see the place that took care of her brother. It's going to be spotless. It's going to smell amazing. And there's going to be the best food she's ever tasted waiting for her. The young SEAL peers into the kitchen. Ma'am, do you need help? Can any of you cook? I'll make a mean grilled cheese, he offers. Perfect. You're hired. For the next hour, my diner becomes the busiest place in the neighborhood. Garcia and his team help clean while I cook. My regular customers refuse to leave, instead grabbing rags and window cleaner. Tommy sits at the counter, watching all of us work. I don't deserve this, he says quietly. Stop saying that. Mrs. Peterson scolds him while scrubbing a table. Good people deserve good things. It's that simple. Around noon, I send Tommy next door to Mrs. Henderson's flower shop. Tell her you need a new outfit, a haircut, and a shave. Tell her it's on me. I can pay for my own clothes now, Tommy protests, waving the government check. Save your money, I tell him. You'll need it for your new life. While Tommy is gone, Garcia sits at the counter drinking coffee. You know, in 12 years of military service, I've never seen anything like this. Like what? A whole community coming together for one person. I flip pancakes on the grill, preparing for the afternoon crowd. Tommy's special. So are you, Garcia says. What you've done for him, feeding him every day, never asking for anything in return. That takes a special kind of person. I just did what felt right. Garcia nods. That's exactly what Tommy said about saving those villagers. 2 hours later, Tommy walks back into the diner, and I barely recognize him. Clean-shaven, haircut, new clothes that actually fit. He looks 10 years younger. Tommy, I stare at him in amazement. He smiles shyly. Mrs. Henderson went a little crazy with the shopping. You look handsome, I tell him, and I mean it. Garcia checks his watch. Your sister's transport just landed. She'll be here in 30 minutes. Tommy starts pacing back and forth. What if she doesn't recognize me? What if she's angry that I let her think I was dead? Tommy, I say gently, she's your sister. She loves you, but I abandoned her. I let her grieve for me. You didn't abandon anyone. You were protecting her. Garcia's phone buzzes. He looks at the message and frowns. What is it? I ask. There's been a complication. My blood turns to ice when I see Garcia's expression. What kind of complication? Garcia looks at Tommy, then at me, then back at his phone. My commanding officer wants to speak with Thomas privately before his sister arrives. What? Tommy asks, his voice shaky. I don't know. He just said it's urgent. Tommy starts backing toward the kitchen again. Something's wrong. They found out I did something bad. No, I say firmly, grabbing his arm. We're not doing this again. You're not running. Garcia puts his phone away. Thomas, I promise you, this isn't about punishment. My commanding officer has been working on your case, personally, for 2 years. He has information that might help you understand what really happened. What if I don't want to understand? Tommy asks, what if I just want to see my sister? Before Garcia can answer, a black car pulls up outside my diner. Through the window, I can see a man in military uniform getting out. That's him, Garcia says. Colonel Patterson. The colonel walks into my diner like he owns the place, but his face is kind. He's older than Garcia, maybe 50, with gray hair and lines around his eyes that suggest he's seen a lot of hard things. Thomas Martinez? He asks, looking directly at Tommy. Tommy nods, unable to speak. I'm Colonel Patterson. I've been looking for you for a very long time. Sir, Tommy manages to say. Colonel Patterson looks around the diner, taking in the sparkling, clean tables, the smell of fresh coffee, and the group of people who are obviously here to support Tommy. Is there somewhere we can talk privately? He asks. No, I say before Tommy can answer. Whatever you have to say to him, you can say in front of me. The colonel raises an eyebrow. And you are. I'm the person who's been taking care of him for 3 years. Colonel Patterson studies me for a moment, then nods. Fair enough. He sits down at the counter and accepts the coffee I pour for him. Thomas, do you remember Captain Williams? Tommy's face goes completely white. My commanding officer. That's right. Captain Williams died 2 months after your last mission. I know. Garcia told me. What Garcia doesn't know is that Captain Williams left something for you before he died. Colonel Patterson reaches into his jacket and pulls out a sealed envelope with Tommy's name written on it in faded ink. He wrote this the day after you disappeared. He wanted you to have it if anything happened to him. Tommy stares at the envelope like it's a poisonous snake. What does it say? I don't know. He sealed it and gave it to me with orders to find you and deliver it personally. Tommy's hands are shaking too badly to open the envelope. I take it from the colonel and carefully tear it open. Inside is a single sheet of paper covered in handwriting. I start reading it silently, and my eyes immediately fill with tears. What does it say? Tommy asks desperately. I clear my throat and begin reading out loud. Thomas, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone and you're finally safe enough to learn the truth. What you did in Afghanistan wasn't just brave, it was impossible. No one else could have done it. Tommy is crying before I finish the first paragraph. I continue. The village you saved wasn't just any village. It was the home of the most important intelligence asset we had in the entire region. The village leader you trusted, Ahmad Hassan, had been feeding us information about terrorist movements for 3 years. What? Tommy looks up in shock. Colonel Patterson. When you told Hassan about the danger, he didn't just evacuate his village. He brought us intelligence about every terrorist cell in a 50-mile radius. Names, locations, plans, everything. I keep reading. Thomas, you didn't break the rules. You completed the mission in a way I never could have imagined. You turned one man into our greatest ally. Tommy is sobbing now, but I never reported back. I abandoned my post. Colonel Patterson leans forward. Thomas, Hassan sent us daily reports about your condition. We knew exactly where you were and what you were doing. You weren't missing. You were working. Working. For 2 weeks, you lived with Hassan's extended family in 3 different villages. Every night, Hassan sent us intelligence that you helped him gather. Weapons caches, safe houses, meeting locations. You single-handedly mapped the entire terrorist network in that region. I continue reading the letter. I reported you as killed in action because the terrorists had figured out there was a spy. If they knew you were alive, they would have tortured Hassan's entire family to find you. Letting the world think you were dead was the only way to keep everyone safe. Tommy looks up at Colonel Patterson. So Captain Williams knew I was alive? He knew, and he was proud of you. I read the final paragraph. Thomas, you're the bravest soldier I've ever commanded. You saved 47 innocent people, protected our most valuable intelligence source, and helped us destroy a terrorist network that was planning attacks on American soil. I'm sorry I can't tell you this in person, but I want you to know that everything you did was right. Tommy slides off his stool and sits on the floor overwhelmed. Colonel Patterson kneels down next to him. Thomas, there's more. Hassan and his family made it to America. They were granted asylum based on their service to our country. Hassan has been asking about you for 5 years. He's here, in America. He lives in Chicago now. He owns a restaurant. Colonel Patterson smiles. He wants to cook for you, just like you cook for his family. Tommy looks up at me through his tears. All this time, I thought I was a coward. You were never a coward. I tell him. You were a hero who forgot he was a hero. Colonel Patterson checks his watch. Thomas, your sister will be here in 10 minutes. But first, there's someone else who wants to see you. He walks to the diner door and signals to someone outside. A man in civilian clothes walks in, followed by a woman and 2 small children. Tommy gasps. Hassan. The man breaks into a huge smile. My friend Thomas, I knew you were alive. The 2 men embrace like brothers, both crying. Hassan's wife approaches shyly, holding her children's hands. This is Amira, my wife, Hassan says. And these are our children, Layla and Samir. The little boy, maybe 6 years old, looks up at Tommy with wide eyes. Are you the soldier who saved Papa? Tommy kneels down to the boy's level. Your papa saved me too. Hassan wipes his eyes. Thomas, my family talks about you every day. You are part of our family forever. Colonel Patterson puts his hand on Tommy's shoulder. One more surprise. Another car pulls up outside. This one I recognize. It's the same type that brought the colonel. Your sister is here, Colonel Patterson says gently. Through the window, I see a woman getting out of the car. Even from a distance, I can see she has Tommy's eyes. Tommy stands up slowly, smoothing down his new shirt. How do I look? Like a hero, I tell him. The door chimes, and Maria Martinez walks into my diner. Maria Martinez freezes in the doorway of my diner, staring at her brother like she's seeing a ghost. 4 or 5 heartbeats, nobody moves or breathes. Then she screams. Not a scared scream, a joyful, disbelieving, heartbreaking scream that makes everyone in the diner start crying. She runs across the room and throws herself into Tommy's arms so hard they both almost fall over. Tommy, 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 she sobs into his shoulder. I knew you weren't dead. I knew it. Tommy holds his sister like she might disappear if he lets go. Maria, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I let you think I was gone. I don't care, she cries. I don't care about anything except you're here. I watch these 2 people hold each other and cry, and I realize I'm crying too. So is Hassan. So are his kids. Even Colonel Patterson is wiping his eyes. After what feels like forever, Maria pulls back to look at Tommy's face. You look so different. Older, but your eyes are the same. You look different too, Tommy says, touching her hair. You're so grown up. I'm 32, Tommy. I got married. I have kids. She turns toward the door. Kids, come meet your Uncle Tommy. 2 children who are hiding behind the car walk slowly into the diner. A boy about 8 years old and a girl maybe 5. They stare at Tommy with huge, curious eyes. This is Thomas and Isabella, Maria says, her voice shaking with emotion. Your nephew and niece. Tommy kneels down to their level, just like he did with Hassan's children. Hi there. I'm your Uncle Tommy. Little Thomas, the boy, steps forward bravely. Mama said you were a soldier who went to heaven. I was a soldier, Tommy says gently. But I didn't go to heaven. I just got lost for a while. Isabella, the little girl, reaches out and touches Tommy's face. You're really real? I'm really real. She hugs him tight around the neck. Mama cries about you sometimes. Tommy looks up at Maria with tears in his eyes. I never meant to make you cry. I cried because I missed you, Maria says. But I'm crying now because I'm happy. Colonel Patterson clears his throat gently. I hate to interrupt this reunion, but we have some business to discuss. Maria wipes her eyes and looks around the diner for the first time. She sees Hassan and his family, the Navy SEALs, my customers who are still here watching everything unfold. What's going on? She asks. These men told me Tommy was alive and that he was some kind of hero, but they wouldn't explain anything else. Tommy takes her hand. It's a long story. I have time, Maria says firmly. I've had 5 years to wait for this story. Colonel Patterson pulls out a chair for Maria. Mrs. Rodriguez, your brother saved hundreds of lives in Afghanistan. The government owes him a significant debt. Maria stares at the colonel, then at Tommy. What kind of debt? Garcia steps forward with the envelope containing Tommy's medal and back pay, military honors, and financial compensation. Maria looks at the Presidential Medal of Honor citation and gasps. Tommy, is this real? It's real, Tommy says quietly. But I don't feel like a hero. Why not? Little Thomas asks. His 8-year-old curiosity cuts through all the adult confusion. Tommy thinks for a moment. Because heroes in movies are brave and strong and never scared. I was scared every day. Mama says being brave means doing the right thing even when you're scared, Isabella says. Out of the mouths of babes. Tommy smiles at his niece. Your mama is very smart. Maria is still staring at the paperwork. Tommy, this says you're getting almost $1 million. I know. It doesn't feel real. What are you going to do with it? Tommy looks around the diner. At me, at Hassan's family, and my customers who helped clean up for his sister's visit. I want to share it. Share it. Colonel Patterson raises an eyebrow. Tommy stands up and walks to the counter. This woman, he points at me, fed me every single day for 3 years. Never asked for anything in return. Never made me feel ashamed for being homeless. I feel my cheeks getting red. Tommy, you don't owe me anything. Yes, I do. He turns to Hassan. And this man and his family trusted me with their lives. They're the reason I was able to complete my mission. Hassan shakes his head. Thomas, you saved us. We owe you everything. Nobody owes anybody anything, Tommy says firmly. But I want to do something good with this money. Maria wipes her eyes again. What do you have in mind? Tommy looks at me. I want to buy this diner. My mouth falls open. What? I want to buy it and expand it. Make it bigger. Hire more people. Tommy's eyes are bright with excitement for the first time since I've known him. I want to make it a place where homeless veterans can get free meals every day. I stare at him in shock. Tommy, this is my life's work. I know. That's why I want you to run it. Be the manager. Make it everything you've always dreamed it could be. I sink onto a stool, overwhelmed. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Maria says with a huge smile. My brother's good ideas. Hassan steps forward. Thomas, my restaurant in Chicago. I want to help too. I can teach cooking classes for veterans who want to learn job skills. Colonel Patterson is writing notes in a small notebook. This is turning into quite an operation. Tommy looks around the room. We could help so many people. It's a beautiful dream, I tell him. But dreams take time to build. We have time, Tommy says. For the first time in 5 years, I have all the time in the world. Maria stands up and hugs her brother again. I'm so proud of you, Tommy. Don't be proud yet, Tommy says. I haven't done anything with this second chance. You've already done something, little Isabella says. You made Mama stop crying. Tommy kneels down and hugs his niece. That's the most important thing I could ever do. Colonel Patterson closes his notebook. Thomas, there's one more thing. The president wants to meet you. The president? Maria gasps. Of the United States? There's going to be a ceremony at the White House next month. You'll receive your Medal of Honor officially. Tommy looks terrified again. I have to meet the president. You don't have to do anything, Colonel Patterson says gently. But the country wants to honor you. Can I bring my family? Tommy asks, looking at Maria and her children. Of course. Tommy looks at me. Can I bring her too? She's family. Colonel Patterson smiles. The president specifically requested to meet the person who took care of you. Me? I squeak. The president wants to meet me. You fed a war hero for 3 years without knowing who he was, Colonel Patterson says. That makes you pretty special too. Garcia checks his watch. We should probably head back to base. There's still paperwork to complete. Wait, Tommy says suddenly. I need to ask everyone something important. The whole diner gets quiet again. 5 years ago, I thought my life was over. I thought I had failed at everything that mattered. Tommy looks around at all of us. But sitting here right now, surrounded by all of you, I realize something. What? Maria asks softly. Sometimes losing everything is the only way to find out what really matters. Hassan nods. Family. Friends. People who care about you. Exactly, Tommy says. And I found the best family I could ever ask for. 3 weeks later, I'm standing in the rose garden of the White House, wearing a dress I never thought I'd own, watching Tommy receive the Presidential Medal of Honor. The president himself places the medal around Tommy's neck while Maria, her children, and I watch from the front row. Hassan and his family are here too, along with Garcia and his SEAL team. Thomas Martinez, the president says in a voice that carries across the entire garden. You represent the very best of American courage and compassion. Tommy stands perfectly still, but I can see his hands shaking slightly. He's come so far from the scared, homeless man who used to count pennies for breakfast. After the ceremony, there's a reception inside the White House. I keep expecting someone to tell me I don't belong here, but everyone treats me like I'm somebody important. "You must be very proud," says a woman in an expensive suit. "I am," I tell her. "Tommy's an amazing person." "I meant proud of yourself," she says with a smile. "What you did for him was extraordinary." I don't know how to respond to that. I just did what felt right. Tommy appears at my elbow, still wearing his medal. "How are you holding up?" "It's a little overwhelming, I admit." "Tell me about it." "The president asked me what I want to do next." "What did you tell him?" Tommy grins. "I told him I want to open the best veterans diner in America. And he said he knows some people who might want to invest." I stare at Tommy. "Are you serious?" "Dead serious. Apparently, there are a lot of wealthy people who want to help veterans but don't know how. Our diner could be the perfect way." Maria joins us, holding Isabella's hand. Little Thomas is somewhere across the room, charming Secret Service agents. "Tommy's been telling everyone about his plans," Maria says proudly. "Half the people here want to help." "It's incredible," Tommy says, his eyes bright with excitement. "We could have diners in 10 cities, 20 cities. We could help thousands of veterans." "Slow down," I laugh. "Let's start with making our one diner perfect." Tommy nods. "You're right. One step at a time." A photographer approaches us. "Excuse me, could I get a picture of the four of you?" We pose together, Tommy with his medal, Maria with her daughter, and me feeling like I'm in someone else's dream. "One more," the photographer says. "This one's for the local newspaper back home." Back home. That makes me smile. Our little neighborhood, our little diner is going to be famous. After the reception, we all fly back together on a military transport plane. Tommy sits next to me, staring out the window at the clouds. "Penny for your thoughts," I say. "I keep thinking about that morning 3 weeks ago," he says quietly. "When I was sitting in the diner, scared and alone, thinking my life was over. And now I feel like it's just beginning." Hassan, who's sitting across from us, leans forward. "Thomas, do you remember what you told me in Afghanistan? When we were hiding from the terrorists?" Tommy shakes his head. "I said a lot of things that week. You said that sometimes the worst things that happen to us lead to the best things." Tommy thinks about this. "I said that. You did. And you were right. When we land back home, there's a small crowd waiting at the airport. My regular customers, Mrs. Henderson from the flower shop, even some people I don't recognize. They're holding a banner that says, 'Welcome home, Hero Tommy.'" Tommy stops walking when he sees them. "I can't believe they did this." "Believe it," I tell him. "You're home now. Really home." Old Mr. Peterson steps forward with a microphone someone brought. "Tommy, we just want you to know that you've always been our hero. Long before we knew about the medal or the money or any of that. You've been our hero because of who you are." Tommy wipes his eyes. "Thank you. All of you." Now, Mrs. Peterson calls out, "Who wants to see what we've done to the diner?" We all pile into cars and drive to the diner. When we pull up, I gasp. The outside has been completely repainted. There's a new sign that says Tommy's Place, a diner for heroes. The windows sparkle, and there are flower boxes full of bright blooms. "How did you do all this in 3 weeks?" I ask Mrs. Henderson. She grins. "Honey, when this neighborhood decides to do something, we don't mess around." Inside, the diner has been expanded into the empty space next door. There are twice as many tables, a bigger kitchen, and a wall covered with photos of local veterans. Tommy walks around slowly, touching the new counters, the fresh paint, the updated equipment. "This is incredible," he whispers. Garcia, who flew back with us, looks around approvingly. "This is going to help a lot of people." "When do we open?" I ask. Tommy looks at me, then at Maria, then at Hassan, then at all our friends and neighbors who made this possible. "Tomorrow morning," he says with a huge smile. 7 a.m. sharp. "What's the first item on the menu going to be?" little Thomas asks. Tommy kneels down to his nephew's level. 2 eggs over easy, hash browns extra crispy, wheat toast lightly buttered. "That's your breakfast." Isabella claps her hands. "That's right," Tommy says. "And from now on, any veteran who wants it can have the same thing. On the house." I look around at this place that's been my life for 15 years, now transformed into something bigger and better than I ever imagined. Tommy, I say, I think this is going to be the start of something beautiful. He puts his arm around my shoulders. It already is. The next morning at 6:45 a.m., I unlock the door to Tommy's place for the first time. Tommy is right behind me, wearing a new apron that says head chef and hero. At exactly 7 a.m., our first customer walks in. He's young, maybe 25, wearing an army jacket that's seen better days. He counts coins in his palm, just like Tommy used to do. Tommy walks up to him with a huge smile. "Good morning, soldier. What can I get you?" "I don't have much money," the young man says quietly. "That's okay," Tommy tells him. The first breakfast is always free for veterans. And the second one. And the third one too, if you need it. The young veteran looks up in surprise. Really? I'm Tommy Martinez. I used to sit right where you're sitting." As I watch Tommy pour coffee for a first customer, I realize that some stories don't really end. They just turn into new beginnings. And this is the best beginning I've ever been part of.